Welcome to 2025. I don't know what this is like I don't want to say premeditated recording or what's that thing you called it when you record something ahead of time? Premeditated, right? I know there's a premeditated murder, but like I don't know if it applies to recordings. But this happened way before 2025, and I don't know if we're going to have that episode of New Year, New Me. I'm cutting people off, locked in, locked out, or whatever people are doing this year. But welcome to 2025, and we can only hope for the very best this new year. I'm not alone, so my first episode for the year 2025 is with an annoying human being, somebody I hold in high esteem, but he's still very annoying, very much annoying. So yes, please say something. I feel like I've been talking for the last 1 hour alone.
You just introduced me as the most annoying person, but
It's not so bad if you're the most annoying person in my life.
well, you didn't have a very, very, very particular title. You could have more than 1,000 annoying people in your life.
Okay, so he's the most annoying person in my life as of today. Why? Like when I'm like this recording as of today, right now, he's the most annoying person in my life.
All right, guys. My name is the most annoying person in Shooter's life as of today. So, for the purpose of the podcast, and as we continue in the conversation,
You're going to be the most.
I'm gonna be the
person.
most annoying person. I will keep it like that.
Okay, I don't know if that's like a serious thing for you, but his name is Francis, by the way. That's what you were meant to say.
Well, my name is the most annoying person.
Okay, most annoying person, but I'm going to refer to him as Francis because I don't think I'm going to have the time to always say most annoying person. But yeah, guys, today we're together. I mean, together in different circumstances, though, if you look at it.
Yeah, very different circumstances, but I think generally I'm glad that we're having the conversation, and I'm also very excited to be on the podcast.
Oh, you're welcome. I don't have gifts for you, though. I mean, I always have gifts for my guests, but I feel like you're too familiar to be referred to as a guest.
Well, I'm the most annoying person. Annoying people don't get nothing.
True. Word, brother, word. Today we're going to be talking about something that we occasionally talk about, and something that I feel like whenever Francis and I talk about, I always receive a lot of blows on it.
Blows?
Yeah, big ass blows. And so before we started recording, and we were trying to look for a topic, something to talk about specifically, and he mentioned it. I was like, I'm definitely going to receive a lot of blows on this one.
Well, why I said the topic that we want to talk about today is because she didn't want to come up with a topic. That's
Well, it's
exactly
not like
why.
I didn't want to come up with a topic. It's just that I felt like you were in that space. Do you get? Annoying people have things to say.
I was just in the space of being excited to be on your podcast, but
All right, he's one of my fans too, guys. He's my major fan. Well, he's not my major fan. He's like my top 10. He's on my top 10 fan list.
I'd rather say I'm on her top 10 critic fan list.
Oh yes, he is actually. He is actually. So I have to do everything within my power, and I want to use a term I don't really know: dexterity. I mean, I know it. I've read it. Like whenever I read books, I see it, and whenever I'm talking or I listen to people, like prominent people speak rather, they say that term. They use that term dexterity. So yeah.
Well, I think dexterity means like skill, like your the skill and the finesse. You know how to do stuff. That's simply what it meant. So I believe that over time that you've been doing this podcast, I can say that you have developed some sort of dexterity towards it.
Oh, guys. So like I have a PhD in dexterity.
An English language.
So what the fuck are you trying to do? Insult me?
I don't know, but like I said, I'm just excited to be here today, honestly.
Okay, actually, guys, he's right. Dexterity, skill in performing tasks.
Oh,
especially with
guys, at the moment she went online to actually go check it.
Yeah,
So,
I had to because I wasn't about to have my listeners think, oh, Shelly doesn't know it.
don't worry, you got Francis today, and Francis is actually like I'm actually
Okay, we've
really,
heard you.
really, really that good.
Like I always tell my people, you're whatever you say you are. So if you say you're that good, then you're
Alright,
that good.
sister.
I'm not going to fault you on that one. So today we're actually going to be looking at choices. We're going to be talking about choices actually, and just very much of how influential it can be, or how intentional we should be. Let me put it that way, when it comes to making choices.
Yeah, I think choices is one of the biggest things people have very difficult time actually getting a hang of, in actually two ways. First of all, doing actually what they want to do, and secondly, actually taking accountability for the things that they have done and the consequences or responsibilities, rights and responsibilities, the good things and the bad things that come out of those things that they have done. So that is why we are talking about choices today.
Do you know the funny thing? If you this is like my own funny scope. But like whenever you're talking to Francis, I'm sorry I have to say this, whenever you're talking to Francis, there's this way he gesticulates, like he uses his hands, like it's like he has the attributes of a teacher. Should I say teacher? Yeah, but like he really likes using his hands. So right now, when like I know we're talking to you guys, but I'm looking at him and it feels like he's scolding me because of the way he's gesticulating.
Guys. So, in fact, I can say that.
Why are you saying, "Oh, guys," like you're reporting me to them?
Because I have to say and say my bit. I have to make the choices of saying my bit.
Okay.
So,
Preacher, brother.
so guys, the first job I actually had in my life was actually being a teacher. So I'd already started teaching people from maybe like I'd say at the end of my high school. I'd already started teaching guys that are also in high school. So I think maybe that skill never left me.
Word, Baba. Word.
What is word?
I mean, facts now. I mean, you're giving us facts. You're giving us.
So that is why I gesticulate a lot, and I also talk a lot like a teacher. Because I actually want people to understand my points really, really clearly and not misquote me, hence saying that I'm the most annoying person in the world.
I don't think those are the reasons you're the most annoying person, but like that's cool.
That's all right.
That's cool. But yeah, so we're looking at choices, and I think prior to today we've had a lot of conversations when it comes to choices. I can't even count how many we've had. I feel like that's been one of the very bedrocks of our relationship. We're always talking about choices.
Yeah.
We're always talking about how it needs to be you. But I think we're prior to this conversation, like I said, we're having a conversation yesterday, and I said we cannot really take away the experiences from the past, in the sense of, let me say, we're trying to look at a young girl or a young guy that decides, I want to leave Lagos or whatever. I want to start a new life outside my parents, outside my family. I want to discover myself. I was trying to tell you that you can't take away your parents, your elders, permit me to use that term, your elders' experiences, because that's also what forms the kind of choices you make.
Okay, so for me, I see choices as, what I think influences choices the most is what you feel as a person you are bound by. So what I mean by that is, what do you think can influence this choice such that in the boundaries of the choice that I want to make, I cannot go beyond it. So, or the boundaries of this choice that I want to make, or these things I want to do, are putting me in a box such that I can or I cannot make this choice. So that is what I think influences the choices the most. So the boundaries could be your environment, the boundaries could be your financial status, the boundaries could be your parents, the boundaries could be, it could be like the level of background that you come in, the level of information you have. But just like any boundary, it can be expanded, it can also be shrunk.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
So my understanding of your willingness to actually make your choices, how willing are you to actually try to expand the boundaries that are keeping you bound onto the choices that you want to make or you wouldn't make? You know when I come from.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, and I really agree with you. So it's a very broad thing. It's a very broad thing. I don't know if you can remember also, like why I made reference to experiences of other persons forming your choices. I think it comes from a large place of, there's something that our preacher man in church used to say, and it's very, my mom used to say it too. There's nothing you're going to experience in life right now that nobody else, like you can't, you're not the first person to experience anything. So there's nothing that happens in life today that somebody else hasn't gone through it.
Exactly.
So you might want to say, oh, I feel so messed up, I feel like I'm not getting a headway. But there's also somebody in Oshubu that felt messed up like 2 weeks ago. He felt like he wasn't getting any headway, and he made that way. So why I believe in, just like what you said, environment, financial status, and all that, there's also a place for experiences of other people, of other persons.
Yes. There's also a place of experience.
Maybe it should not form a large portion of your choices. Maybe it can form like 20% of the choices you make.
I'm not exactly, because what we're talking about here right now is social sciences. So choice is something that is related to human. So I'm not the one to give figures in terms of percentages.
Yeah, definitely.
If I'm not really sure.
I mean, I have no stats for that, though. I don't know what
you have to tell them.
I'm not saying that based on stats I have, though.
But what I'm saying in essence is that why you want to pick up from people's experiences, but for me personally, I believe that for you to know, you have to go. So for you to know, you have to go. So this literally means that if they say that we have a very, very beautiful view of a mountain over us right now, looking at us. So if they say that, okay, in the other side of this mountain right now is like a gold mine, and if you're able to go there and mine gold, you have get large chunks. So now, and then if they also told you that over that side of the gold mine, passing this mountain now, there might be some mountain lions over there that possibly are roaming around there. So and then some people have gone there and maybe they got chased by mountain lions. So these are the boundaries of the choices that you want this gold mine. So how hard do you want this gold mine? How hard do you want to get gold from this gold mine? So the boundaries are, of course, the mountain itself, and then, of course, the mountain lion that you may have had stories about, and then based on people's experiences, based on what you have had. So now, why it's very important to put people's experiences into accountability or into perspective, it's also important to know, like I said in the beginning, how are you willing to push hard within the boundaries of people's experiences? Because, of course, you also remember that that when they are trying to go to space for the first time, it's not just the Russians or the Americans that were trying to do it for the first time. There are also other countries that are trying to do it, but of course, maybe not successful. Then, will you say you're going to stop? Will you go to say you're going to stop researching or learning for us to know what is possible or not possible? So that is how I think about choices, as it's about how we are able to push the experiences of other people as well as our willingness to be successful.
I want to do this again, but then I feel like you make a big deal out of it. Yes, I think we have a meeting point. I think we do, but I think okay, let me not say it that way. It's more like, I don't want to say you don't want to meet me, but I think we have a meeting point, and we've established that there's a meeting point. But I think we're coming from different angles, in the sense that you solely, or maybe 75%, I know you're going to say don't put figures to social science, but you kind of believe that aside the experiences of others, it's first of all dependent on you.
I am 100%, you and God.
Now you're putting figures to social science.
You and God. So that's what I actually believe, because I feel like the bulk of the work actually stops at your own desk. That is what I feel. Because also why I feel this way is that if things go wrong, you should also be able to
say, I did this.
And I think this is where a lot of young people of our age right now are having issues. I don't know if I'm being too forward in the course of this podcast, but I'm almost heading to the accountability part, because choice goes hand in hand with accountability. And I feel that is something we as young people, well, I say maybe our parents, they have better than us. They understand that things take time, and they are also willing to take accountable or be accountable for things that they have done. But as young people these days, we always feel, or there's a lot of times we think that the choices that we make are always going to be successful. So we are not yet ready. We are not built, or we have not developed that sense of strength to actually know that, I mean, shit can actually happen while we are doing this.
Okay. I think I'm going to have a counter to that, because if we're going to look at our parents and look at us, and I'm not trying to say that I'm not trying to justify get rich rich quick schemes or anything like that, or justify the immoralities and the, permit me to use the term, devilish acts that we have somehow welcomed in our generation. What I'm trying to say is, our parents had a very big space to learn, mess up, and relearn. Whether we like, I feel if we're going to compare times and seasons, we are not in that. We're not giving that. How do I put it? We're not giving that level of freedom to learn and make mistakes. Not freedom in the sense of somebody's holding us hostage, but if you look at, should I say, time wasted, catching up to make amends for time wasted. The young people of this generation are not really in that. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say.
I think I understand what you're trying to say, because maybe you feel young people in this our time, we feel like things are happening really fast.
Yeah, things are really happening fast.
It is happening really fast. So, but while it's also happening really fast, it also comes back to the boundaries I talked about. What do you feel you are bound by? Are you bound by time as well? Are you bound by time? Do you feel like you have to do this before you are 25? Do you think you have to do this before you are 20? Or do you feel you have to do, oh my God, this 19-year-old guy is doing music now, and it's like the next big thing. His name is on the news, is on the radio. I want to do this before I get to 19. Do you think that is also the case? So, because if you are thinking in that light, that means you've already set a boundary of time in your own work. That means why things are happening fast right now, it is going to happen really, really faster for you. But also another thing, why our parents, why I agree with you that they have like maybe time to learn and space to relearn. We have the better information. Not just the better information, we also have the worst information, because we have all of the information.
Yeah.
All of the information, just of course in your hands. You've got your phone, you've got your laptops, and all of that. So the information we have access to right now is much more bigger than what they had access to. So
it's way bigger, yes.
So our responsibility right now is actually to make the choice of sieving, filtering, and that is what like a lot of young people right now don't know how to do.
You know, one time, I think it was 2 weeks ago, sometime in December, basically, I was reading, and I'm not going to name names, but you know who you refer to as my boyfriend on Twitter and X. I was reading.
Wow.
I was going through. I hate, because there's something that people are saying on X now, and it's how the algorithm is messed up, whereby the algorithm of X now feeds you more information about breast and bum, TikTok trends and all that, and it takes away the political views, right? And I noticed it a bit on my X, on my platform, my timeline. For a while, I was like, because I don't know why his name crossed my timeline, but for like a week plus, I had not seen him on my timeline, and that was so weird. I at least 4 days out of a week, I should see him on my timeline. But for like a week, I didn't see him on my timeline. So what I did was I went back to his page, and I just kept on reading. And this is also what he said. Our ability to see, because there's so much information out there. There's so much dangerous information out there, and after a point, I think after like 30 minutes or an hour of going through his timeline, getting acquainted with news and all that, I just went on my WhatsApp and I was like, sometimes ignorance is bliss. Because I just wished I didn't have that level of information that I had received at that point in time. But it also goes to buttress what you said about our generation. We have access to a lot of information, whether it's the good information, whether it's the bad information. We have, and I think another thing is our generation, we kind of fight over stupid things.
Well, it's because, I say the world is easier right now. I wouldn't be wrong if I said that. I think the world is easier right now in terms of the ease of and access of actually getting things done. Why?
Yeah, it doesn't apply to all things. I mean, I can comfortably spit out some trends that were up sometime 2024 that I felt like, because let me even say this before I dive in. I could remember one time I was on X and somebody was talking about how she's so happy that tribalism, I mean, this kind of deviates from what we're talking about.
All right.
Yeah, but she's so happy that tribalism is going to end with our parents' generation. And I laughed.
No, that's not.
I laughed because it's going to be more intense in our generation, in our time.
So there's something I would say. It's either it gets really, really worse, or it gets really, really good. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, it's gonna get really worse.
Yes.
I have young people as my friends as well, or from different tribes as well. From our conversations, you already know, you can already see the impact of what the parents has told this person.
Yeah.
And I'm not against maybe don't marry from this tribe or don't marry from this religion. I'm not saying, but what I really want you to do as a person is to make sure that the decision of you maybe marrying or just doing what you want to do with this person is coming from you. That choice doesn't have to be because somebody older than you told you something. Somebody older than you told you something from his experience. While you should put that into perspective, you should not have it as a bias.
Okay.
I don't know if this makes sense. You should not have it as a bias, but you should put it into perspective. Yeah. Obviously, for example, if the place is dangerous, or people from this particular place is dangerous, obviously there are 1,000 or 1 million people from that place. It cannot be all of them that are dangerous. Why it is important to put that into perspective. But I also feel as a human being, we have to actually give people around us a chance.
Yeah, but how much?
Okay.
How many chances are we willing to give people? That's another thing to also look at.
Okay. So now I think you're a numbers person because you're always trying to tie it to a number.
Well, yeah, I kind of like having numbers tied to certain things.
You're always trying to tie it to a number.
Yes.
But that's the thing. When you're talking about relationship, when you're talking about dealings with people, it is not a numbers thing. It's about. I feel it's about. Okay, I'm talking with this person that they say is from a dangerous group of people, right? So now. What is the character or what is the attitude, what is the exhibition of the personality that this person is showing me? Not just what he's showing me, but I'm also what I'm reading from the way he is treating other people. In your presence and out of your presence. So I feel that forms a notion about that particular individual. Because from where this person is coming from, maybe there's a lot of bias that they are bad, that this and all of the negative things. But this person, first of all, like I said in the beginning, is a representation of himself to you before he becomes a representation of where he came from, which is his family, and then before he becomes a representation of his community.
I think it's the other way. I think you're first a representation of your family, because that's your first place of contact. That's your first place of relationship. before you become a representation of yourself. And why I'm saying this is a child's primary place of knowledge, of expression, of growth is with the family.
Okay, so while I would strongly be on the counter of what you just said right now, is if you walk into a job interview right now, in a fair job interview, nobody will care about your family name.
No, I'm not. And see, I think now we're looking at this from two sides. I'm not saying your family name or anything. I'm saying, okay, who Shadi is, who I am. My first, the ideologies I started with, the beliefs I started with, were from my family.
Yeah, but right now, you have become an adult.
Yeah, so it is first from your family to you not being you.
Which, I go back to say, the choices that you have made has got to become your own choices. Because even though maybe your parents have been influencing, or maybe your family, let me even use your parents particularly, has been influencing the way you do things. But while you grow up, you've become responsible for yourself. So if you've become responsible for yourself, it means that if you go ahead and steal today, nobody's coming to pick up your parents. They are coming to pick you up first. If they don't see you, they now go for your family. And then when your family comes, they let them go, they pick you up. So that is why I say the choices are your choices. There has to be your choices influenced by your environment, of course. So not just your environment, family, where you live, what you aspire to be. Those are the things that are going to influence your choices.
A little side note again, this is from too much reading, and to every lawyer that listens, I hope I'm right. Apparently I read that if you're found guilty or something, they cannot arrest your family. I mean the Nigerian, we know our Nigerian way. Do you understand? We know our Nigerian way, so that's why by default we still do arrest a family. But yeah, so that's just by this side. And yes, I'm not doubting what you said, but where my issue is coming from is I'm not seeing how it is possible to be your own man, because it's just like how we're going to say, by the way, I bought amazing chips and he hates it. He's calling them Chibozo's chips. But I'm not going to say much because I don't know if the producers actually put in a lot of effort into those chips. But
I don't want to say anything about the chips because, I mean, I really think she has a very different sense of thirst. So
it's not my fault.
Absolutely not. It's about it's the fault of the things that you've been exposed to.
So yeah, basically. So in preparation of anything, let me just generalize this a bit. In preparation of anything, there are so many factors to it. To create a man, you need them bones, them kidneys, them livers, or whatever. To produce a phone, you need there are a lot of parts to it.
Yep.
And so to produce a man, there are also, I'm not talking about your inner man now, to produce the person of a man, there are so many factors to it.
Exactly.
So it becomes, I always try to say this, I'm going to deviate more again now. I always have an issue when
deviation on a deviation.
I always have an issue when people say things like self-made billionaire. I don't think that should be a term that exists.
Okay. So obviously, nothing can be self-made.
Yeah,
so nothing can be self-made because your journey to becoming a billionaire or a millionaire
is influenced by so many factors,
so many people, and so many factors.
Yes. So that's why I always think who I am as a person. I don't make choices I don't make independent choices. Which
for me, I feel like the choices that every human being has to make, you cannot say you're making an independent choice because obviously choices are influenced by a lot of things.
Okay, so that's why I wanted us to come to.
Yeah, obviously choices
now
are
your decision to implement that choice is solely on you.
Yes.
Okay.
So because obviously you have different choices as a person to do whatever you want with your life.
Yeah, to make babies.
To become the next Aliko Dangote, to work so hard
and make babies
to become whatever you want to be in your
and
life.
make babies.
You also have the choice of just being a drunk. Maybe get any money you have, you just use
Spend
it to spend and relax and chill. So, but these are your options.
Yeah.
These are your options.
Yeah.
Once you have begun an action to implement a choice, then you have to be fully accountable. Then it becomes, for me, an independent choice. Because a choice is still a choice if there's no action. Nothing is going on here. Nothing is going on here. But if you have started a set of actions, whether you chose those set of actions, because you might have an intention of this is where I want to be. Because maybe for example, when we entered the university, all of us, we are like, man, we're going to hit this first class and all of that. But if the array of the actions that you're doing, why are you laughing?
Because that's a personal story I can tell. When I entered first year, my first semester, I was like, first class. As in, I was so sure. But when I saw my first semester results, I sat myself down and I said, Chidera, do you know what you can do to yourself? By the way, my name is also Chidera. Do you know what you can do to yourself? Just make sure you don't have the carryover and you're good to go. So I lost first class like that. I did not think about it again.
So it just shows that the actions that we have followed through are not actually the actions that are supposed
first class
to.
Students.
Yes.
Yes.
So and generally every other thing in the outlook of life, minus the actions of life that would happen, maybe some uncertainties that would happen. Every other thing follows your actions through. If for example, so there's this financial guy that she introduced me to. I think it was Shady Assistant on Instagram. I can't remember. So
by the way, you should follow Shady Assistant. He's really
good. Really good. So I think there's something he posted sometime about like the actions of the Jewish people, how they created wealth, how they create wealth. So now and how they create wealth being biblical, but just in the sense of like, I'll give you an example of some of the things that they say. For example, if somebody, I don't want to get the figures wrong, but I think one of the principles is if, for example, somebody's owing you a debt of 10 years, that it's time to forgive the debt. That's number one.
Hallelujah, somebody.
Maybe. And then another one is about community development of wealth. For example, your brother is, or somebody in your community is really poor, then you guys can band together to set up something for him. He learns, he comes and serves the community, and then he learns, and then you guys will give him something, and then he will set up his own.
I've actually even seen a video like that.
He will set up his own store. In that way, you guys are not just giving him, but you guys are also empowering him. So now, these are like sets of actions that you can follow to create financial wealth. You may not know these things as well. You may not have read about it before. But if you're following through with the actions, the result will be there.
Yeah.
So now, whether you have the knowledge of it or whether you have read about the knowledge of it or somebody taught it to you, but these are actions that you're already exhibiting based on maybe sheer natural intelligence.
Yep.
Or maybe it just felt like what is right for you to practice.
Yep.
Then you would see that the actions of those choices that you've made would actually be positive, and you can as well just build on that.
Yeah, I also seen a video like that about this guy. I think his family basically, I think one of their brothers was trying to get into like insurance. He had to get insurance license. So when the entire family came together and sponsored him to get that license.
Yeah.
Now anything insurance related, he handles it. So if you have somebody in your family that wants to go to culinary school, everybody comes together, sponsor that person to go to culinary school. Once that person comes out, I'm not saying she's going to do work for you for free, but you're sure getting a discount.
Yeah.
Why? Because you're one of the founding fathers, and it's family based and all that.
So why I actually love that, kind of kind of sustainable support. It's also important to have, like, first of all, a sense of direction as a family or as a community that wants to towards this path. Because, for example, now, if this year now we want to sponsor somebody, maybe we have a family of 4 or 5. This year now we want to sponsor someone who's going to get a law degree, because we want that in the future, that this guy, anything concerning law and manipulating things concerning law and legal affairs, maybe he can help us. Not like he's working for free. And then this guy, we give him this, and this guy begins to go to law school and begins to do all sort of things and flunk his way and all of that. Then it becomes a little bit impossible to maintain that system.
Yes.
To maintain that system. So it's actually very important that people know that this is the part where it comes that your responsibility and the responsibility of the choices you make may not just be affecting only you.
Yes.
May not just be affecting only you. So you must as well have the sense of where you came from or the community that is backing you up to make sure that the choices that you are making are also in agreement with the goals that you also are a part of. And
so indirectly, what we're also saying is, I know that we're also going to have that understanding that our choices do not just only affect us.
Yeah.
But there must be, again, numbers, at least 70% of selfishness in the choices we make.
You have to want it.
Yes, you have because there's so much you can go when it comes to pleasing people. And we're not just talking about the community thing of sponsoring anybody. We're talking about in life generally.
Yes.
There's so much you can do to please people. And you have to cut back and say, okay, I'm done. I can't please you to the full extent. I can't make you come out every day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year or 360 days a year and sing praises for me, me, with my name and everything. So there's gonna be a level of, I made A, B, C because I knew that A, B, C would satisfy my innermost desires, would make me feel fulfilled as a man. Even though that my parents might be like, fuck you, why did you make this decision?
Of course, when anybody have gotten to that stage of decision making, it's when I would say the person has become an accountable person, because that shit could actually happen. Yes. Things can actually go. That's funny. That things can actually go wrong.
Yes.
And then if you're able to actually back yourself in when things are going wrong, knowing that you would just hang in there, you would really, really, really hang in there, and back yourself to actually get it right. I mean, disappointments is going to happen in life. You are going to realize that even some of the choices that you made are wrong. You are also going to realize that maybe you could have done better in some of the choices that you have made, but the end goal is that you are fully aware that you are accountable for these decisions that you've made, and you are also willing to put in the work to actually correct or maybe expand on the choices that you made, and then also put in the actions that we back in those choices, because that's like really, really important. Because if it's just about I'll do this, I mean, nothing is gonna happen. Nothing is gonna happen. Nothing happens by doing nothing.
Nothing happens by doing nothing. This I think this has been very, very enlightening and very interesting.
Well, you got me, the most annoying person. Francis.
You also have me.
Wisdom.
What?
I speak wisdom.
Please don't let me vex. I don't vex normally, I'm a babe. But yeah, why are you staring at me like that? Well, yeah, I think I would like to see more young persons take responsibility for their actions, more, and again, it's also a thing of choice. Are you willing to take responsibility for your action?
But yeah, that's the thing now. Some of the actions that some of the responsibilities or actions that you follow through that are backing your choices must come to you. For example, if you take a loan, you have to pay back your loan.
Preach.
You've got to pay back your loans. So
you don't need OPay to be calling me and PamPay to be calling me because I ain't paying your debts for you, nigga. You better handle it.
So no matter how will I say irresponsible you want to be about that set of choices you've made, the actions would come back to you.
Everything has consequence, man.
It would come back to
it's
you.
Either it's a good one or a bad one, but everything just has consequence.
We always pray we want good consequences for our actions.
Yeah, but it's not everything that's gonna have it.
Yeah, but that's all part of life. That's all part of life.
Yes. This has been very interesting, I must really say. For once, I feel like we're talking about choices, and I don't feel like you're pointing fingers at me. So, guys, after I told you that he gesticulates a lot, he hasn't pointed any finger at me. So, I think the power of words and being, and reporting him to you guys worked.
I think she just doesn't give me enough credit for understanding situations, understanding the required same.
So, I'm going to make an award and give you most understanding / most annoying person.
Okay, just one extra award from the beginning on to the end of the conversation. I've got 2 awards. It's been also really nice talking here today and having a good conversation. Yes, I like to do this again.
I think, yeah, definitely. What is that one thing, So, I think for me personally, and I've said this to persons that really care to listen, and if you know me, you know that I kind of talk a lot. So I've said this to persons that I care about and that they care to listen, that you have to get to a point in your life where you can comfortably say, I made this choice, and this choice, irrespective of the outcome.
Yes, exactly.
So even if I decide today that I want to move to Abuja and start a new life. Now, if I move to Abuja and something bad happens or something good happens, I need to say I made this decision. Because the more people or persons we give an influence in our life, the more frustrated we become.
Yes, and like I said the word before, for you to know, you have to go. Yeah. So, and then while you are going, please also
be smart.
Be really, really, really smart.
Yeah.
Be really, really smart, because while you are ready to be accountable for your choices, you don't want them to maybe some sort of cause some troubles for you and then maybe cause a delay, but that is why it's also very important to, look at your strategy, look at your choices as well before the consequences start happening.
Yep.
Because if you're able to, preempt the possible actions that can emanate from your choices, then you can say, when this happens, I'll do this. When this happens, I'll do this. When this happens, I'll do that. Now, you're not saying that you have all the loose ends covered, but you have given it some thoughts. Even if the action you prepared for that loose end did not cover it, it has already given you an idea of the things that you can possibly do to fix a situation, and also prepare you mentally that things can actually go wrong.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. I don't want to say final words to this generation, because we are part of this generation.
Well, I'm gonna give final words.
I think I want to frame it as final words to yourself. Like, what's that one backing word? What's that one word or that one quote or encouragement that you stand by when it comes to making choices?
One thing I can actually say is, if you've thought about it, you might probably be able to do it. That's that one thing I always.
So I can finally become the president of World Bank.
Just about.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we're gonna stand with, if you've thought about it, then you can probably do it. Yeah. So I think this was more of an encouragement, more of a driving force for people. Now this I don't think at any point we said you should disrespect people.
Yeah, because
people are allowed to talk.
in this new year, what we want to be pushing is people to do.
Yes.
Want to push people to do.
Get us to do me.
Yeah, don't just sit back and be like, I wish you had. Just try to have. That is try to do the actions that could make you have. It may not work. That is the truth. It may not work. But I mean, you're gonna pick up things in the process, guys.
Yes, because you're gonna pick up a lot of things. You're going to learn. You know, it's and you're going to learn to give yourself. You have to also learn to give yourself grace. I don't think anybody in life has ever achieved all they've ever wanted to achieve at the first try. Do you get?
Yeah, I totally understand that.
So we need to learn to give ourselves a level of grace, a level of leeway, a level of okay, I messed up here, I failed here. Now time to rejive everything, time to rework everything and push again.
Give yourself grace, but don't get reluctant.
Yeah, I mean, if you're giving yourself...
Oh, did I say reluctant? Sorry, complacent.
Complacency.
Yeah, it's because she has already told me to give final words. That's why. That's because I'm drunk.
So that's my fault. Well, thank you so much for being on today's episode. I really appreciate your presence, your voice, your mind, your everything long and strong. I do appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me on the podcast. You have a very good day. You have a very good year as well. Yeah. I mean, big things are going to happen this year for every one of us.
Definitely.
Every one of us listening as well.
Inshallah.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much for listening. You're welcome. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. Please do not forget to share with your loved ones, your friends, and your families. And if you do have multiple partners, please share with them because, you're growing the community of side chicks and side guys. This is me wishing you a long life, peace and prosperity. And I do pray that God grants every one of us longevity. Happy New Year and welcome to the start of something and many more things amazing. Bye, guys.